Good morning. It is Tuesday, September the 10th. This is the last chance for Bitcoin bulls to pull out another hammer reversal. Let's jump into the charts and see what's happening right now. Of course, this isn't trading advice, just market observation. And let's jump into the charts and see what's going on right this minute. We can see Bitcoin prices. I can see both ways. I can see Bitcoin fading off from here, and I can see this being an important hammer reversal and prices going up from where we are, right off this very point. We're looking at the 5-minute bars, but let's zoom out to the weekly bars and go through our routine and get some verification. So let's start off with the weekly RSI and go through it. The thing we're watching for here is this week's candle. What is it going to do? Is it going to slip down below these levels, or is it going to hold its own? And if it changes angle and starts to go upwards throughout this week, this is going to be very bullish for a turnaround where we are right now. And it'll match what we've seen in the past before as prices were in the big long uptrend and still going parabolic. The RSI came down to these levels and it went sideways, or it bounced straight off these levels. So watching what it does is key. Let's zoom in on these time frames now. On the daily time frame, we're watching for much the same idea. Is this going to continue the uptrend, or is it going to break these levels? We already had a break of this downtrend level for the bullish side. Now, if it maintains this, we're going to continue bullish off of this run. We've got these hammer reversals right along this line here, all the way along. Let's zoom in now to the 12-hour view. 12-hour view, 12-hour exponential moving average hasn't crossed over yet. We do see this kind of a downtrend line that it broke, much like the daily. And we've been watching all the way through now for this trend line to break. I'll get a straight line here. Been watching for this to break. That broke. That is more bearish. But of course, it could turn up from here because we're still along that split line where everything above this is usually going up and things below that is when we're going down. So the RSI bouncing off this level still gives life to the chance for this to bounce off and go higher right off where we are right now. Let's zoom in further on the what is this now? The 4-hour time frame, watching for this same thing at the front to see if this continues moving higher off of these levels. And if it is continuing and moving up while we're seeing these breakouts happen, there's confirmation. But we really have to break above these levels. The RSI really has to break above these levels here on the 4-hour time frame. Now, I actually remembered I want to take a screenshot and tweet it while we are going through our thing here. So this is the 4-hour RSI, and I'm not going to take the time to type it in. I'm just going to tweet it out because I want to continue on through the episode. That'll really elongate things. So here we're looking at the potential for this to be breaking higher. We have 1, 2, 3, and you can call that in either direction. This could be the number 1. This could be the number 2. We also have a larger 1, 2, 3 that it's breaking here, and we could call this an upside down formation of a 1, 2, 3. Depending on which way it breaks, we'll confirm which one of those 1, 2, 3s are actual. And we've got a nice trend line here that if it breaks above these levels, that's bullish. Below these levels, that's bearish. We're really down to a fine point. And I thought we were down to a fine point yesterday, but it's edged down and giving us a little bit of bullish action there. Let's zoom in on the time frames one more time. 15-minute time frame, watching for a super oversold here, less oversold here. So this is a divergence that moves along with bullish stance here. And cutting it close to where we could draw a trend line, and that's actually poking through. Still has important levels to pass above though before we really can say that it's a legitimate buy signal. Let's go on to the MACD Let's do the on balance volume. This one's supposed to be first. So on balance volume, still lagging, still showing this to be top formation in the long term. In the 1 year view, this is still not looking good. We still have dumping going on. And if we look at what happened here before, while we had the dumping, it's not very good. We had to have quite a while of positive buying here before we really broke out strongly. And we're just not seeing that yet here. Let's zoom in on the 12-hour time frame. Now we have volume, but it's declining as we're moving down here. Declining on balance positive volume. Moving into the 4-hour time frame, still declining, and we still have a lot of selling going on there. We don't have that trickle of buying to say that it's going to hold itself. Seems like a little incontinent here and losing itself. Let's zoom in. Still selling, not giving us a turnaround. I was kind of thinking, as this is going to be a hammer reversal, I figured there's going to be a blip of some volume going on here. And it's not even showing up in the 15-minute time frame, so this makes me a lot more bearish compared to what I was seeing in the RSI. Let's go on to the MACD, because this is giving us a negative crossover in the weekly view. And let me zoom in on this histogram. It is extending. We're getting a more negative histogram here, not flat or pulling back. So it seems like it's increasing its bearish pressure. On the 1 day time, this was really bullish for me in that it held itself here. It held itself here while we had these levels setting up. This was bullish to me. But as this comes to cross, that is more bearish to me. As I zoom in on this, I want to point out the bearish confirmation, much like the daily, in that the weekly, much is that we have this histogram easing off. And if this crosses over now, that confirms that this is more bearish, that we have lower and lower and lower crosses as this is going and the price is dropping. That's super confirmation of bearish. On the 12-hour time frame, this has just crossed bearish. So we do have those crosses and crosses to the lower side as we are coming down. More bearish sentiment coming out of this, that I was expecting to see a turnaround. Now the 4-hour is easing back and it could flip. But again, back to the 12-hour, it would take a little bit more juice to flip that 12-hour back again now. So the 4-hour could flip pretty easily. Let's go into the 1-hour. It is flipped positive here, and now it's eased off negative. If I expand this out, we can just see that this is turned to the negative histogram. We'll watch that momentum because it does look like it's going to bounce up from here. 15-minute view. This is the first one that's giving a cross and then a cross positive here. If this crosses positive and starts to give strength, that is a bullish turnaround setup here, but only if it builds up above these levels. Really looking pretty bearish in the MACD, and I really respect the MACD. Now we've got another MACD. Let's go into the Ichimoku cloud, out to the long-term time frame. This is still, of course, positive, but the blue line is losing energy. The green line is moving sideways, and if the red line starts to lose it as we're coming back here, this is giving us the first indications of a pullback that we've seen in the weekly Ichimoku in a while. Now the daily has been showing us this sell signal with a little bit of confusion because the blue line crossed above the red, where everything else is pretty much sell signal. This is coming into the cloud rather than breaking through everything, or into the price level rather than breaking through. This has not twisted to the positive, so it's still pretty negative, just hanging out there. 12-hour time frame still has a couple confusing positive changes in it, where we do have the blue line above the red line. That's kind of bullish. This is twisted positive. That's kind of bullish. And our trailing indicator has almost cut through everything, which would be bullish if it was above. The only thing is the price level don't match that any kind of bullish. In fact, this looks like it could be a sell signal in a downtrend if this breaks lower and we have the crossover. Nothing definitive here yet either. On the 4-hour time frame, couple days ago, this was looking like a buy signal. Oh, there we go. As prices were moving up out of this area, we could see that the trailing indicator was a buy signal. The blue line had crossed above the red for a buy signal, but now it's crossed back over for a sell signal, or at least a pullback. And it could be a buy signal in an uptrend if it breaks up out of this cloud, but certainly if it breaks down below this cloud, I'll be expecting this to twist to the negative. And should that twist to the negative as we're breaking out, that is our confirmation of a sell signal in the Ichimoku Cloud 4-hour. Now we go into the 1-hour time frame, and this is staying below the cloud all the way along. The only it was kind of, I was getting a little confused there, but not really. This is the blue line crossing below the red line, which is bearish looking. As this confirms, like we have the negative twist, we have a negative cross over there. The only thing is the trailing indicator isn't bracketing and staying wide. So it doesn't look yet like it's going to be doing a sharp dive down. So let me clear this off. The 1 hour is not looking like I thought. There would be more clear answers from the Ichimoku. The 15-minute time frame, also not a clear answer because it is hanging into the cloud. Not really. It'll get more clear if we're dropping these levels. Really, we need these technical levels for clarification on the RSI. The MACD is looking pretty negative. The on-balance volume is looking pretty negative. We don't have enough buying volume to pick this up, it seems like that. And then the Ichimoku is sort of floating sideways. We need that confirmation one way or the other on this to give us some meat in these trades. So again, much like yesterday, it's in that no trade zone basically, where if you are trading this and you're starting out a new position, it should be really micro and then plan to add on to that after you're correct. Now I'm going to finish this up with a look at the Bitcoin dominance. And let's zoom out a bit on this. It has been in a crazy uptrend for quite a while, and now it's actually broken one place you could draw this trend line. You could draw it in a few different places, but it's really looking like it's broken through that trend line, almost no matter which way you cut it. Now I'm expecting that Bitcoin is going to bounce up a little bit. Bitcoin dominance is going to give a little kick at the cat again, and as it's breaking below these levels, then it's like nitro time. So it's a really hesitant time. It seems like Bitcoin is going to bounce again, and if it does, alts are going to pull back, and this is what will happen in Bitcoin dominance. Just taking a quick look at our 4 charts where Bitcoin, should this fade off, then we should see Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple all taking off out of these formations. They are looking like ascending wedge triangles right now. Ascending wedge, ascending parallel channel, bouncing off the bottom of that channel. So if Bitcoin is breaking from here, these will launch. But these are also beautiful top formations. And if Bitcoin starts to break up higher from here and take off, these are in perfect positions to be finishing 1, 2, 3 top formations and dropping pretty strongly out of these levels. I'll go into more detail on the alts in the altcoin live stream. But before I go, and I want to go and get that done right away here this morning so that I can spend the rest of the day finishing off my ultimate BitMEX tutorial. This has been a really fun project to pull together all this information and to make the examples for the trading video. Looking forward to publishing this one, and I'm keen to share it with you guys and get your feedback on it as well. Now let's zip back into the price of Bitcoin. And it'll just a matter of monitoring it now and getting ready for a position on either side of this. And if it goes up, I don't know. We'll have to really watch it. I just figure it's going to be coming down from my own personal view. And I have to trade what the chart patterns tell me, not my own personal view. So good to see a few people out here at this time of the morning. It is 5:20 in the morning at my corner of the world. Say hello in the chat and let me know what time in the world it is where you are. Am I reaching a North American audience or am I reaching more of a European audience at this time of the day? Awesome to see. Melbourne, Australia, 8:20 p.m. and Norway, 12 p.m. That's perfect because I'm focusing on BitMEX and people from the US can't trade there. So definitely I'm looking for more Canadians, more Europeans, more Australians. My nephew is in Australia. Here we are looking like it's going to be breaking out, and this is a hammer reversal. Surprise, surprise. I was expecting that should it break down below these levels, we were going to go sailing, and then it bounced up. I was able to get my stop loss down below my short position, and as it came up, it kicked me out of my short at a small profit. So I have to now watch this to see what I'm going to do with my position next. Small pump up before down. It is a quandary right now. If I go out to the charts and ignore the indicators, which I just use sort of as a crutch to help me along, I really focus on the chart patterns themselves. And as we're coming along, I'm seeing all of these hammer reversals in a line. And it's pretty clear, it's rough enough that as it's coming to these levels, there's just a whole bunch of buying coming into the market every time it bounces off these levels. We had a bit of an extra blip down there, but since it's recovered above it, I'm kind of ignoring the Bart Simpson patterns here and just looking for where that big reversal came in. And we're at the point where that reversal can come in again, and it's a mini 1, 2, 3 like bottom formation reversal here. If I'm looking at just this pattern here and this corner of it, it's giving us that little mini 1, 2, 3 on the top and the bottom. So it's uncertain right now and really have to wait for it to confirm one way or the other and then double check all of the indicators. So through the day, as I'm working on that BitMEX tutorial, as that's ready, I'm going to publish it. I'm going to make it available on Kindle so that you can download it for free. And as I'm working on that, I'll pay attention to these charts. I'm going to set up a couple alerts so that my computer will flag me, and I'm going to go over to the other machine and do the editing. From 10.5 to 10.6 and then down maybe. It is crazy uncertain because as soon as it stages above any of these levels, now it's a whole new game. As soon as it stages up above this, now we've changed direction. And as soon as it stages above these levels and it makes a bit of a structure, now it's a whole new game. Now we've changed direction. And we're right at that point where if it's breaking below any of these levels, we've made a major change in direction. So a really keen time to be paying attention and focusing on the charts here. And so I'll come in and I'll do another live stream just to capture a live stream of all of those indicators as this is unfolding. So then we can go back from day to day and play that back and watch these indicators unfold against our chart patterns. And it's just another case study to add to the evidence of when the chart patterns line up like this and the indicators line up like this. This is what our plan is. And the more case studies, the more examples that I can pull together on a daily basis like this, the more powerful it is for our course in the long run. So I'll sign off for here and I'll tune in later as this is updating. Now I'm going to go jump into the altcoins and do the same thing through those 6 big altcoins on BitMEX over on the other channel so that I can log and document those top formations, or are they continuation breakouts? Fantastic stuff. Thanks again for tuning in. I will sign off for now and wish you guys all the best in your Bitcoin trading today.